What does the title of your album mean?
Stumptandas, the word tanda in tango refers to a set of 3 or 4 tangos that's played at a tango dance of a certain orchestra, so it's kind of like a set that's played. And that's how the CD is kind of organized in sets that you could dance to, 3 or 4 songs long, and well, stump, because we live in Stumptown, so Stumptandas. We're also using mostly local musicians, so it's my local sextet. It's the first CD that I've put out with a local group.
And who are they?
We got Andrew Oliver, the jazz pianist, on piano on about half the tunes. He did a lot of arranging for the album as well. He's awesome. We got Nicole Portley, who's a regular pianist with us as well. We have Adam Lamott, who's just a killer violin player. He subs for the Oregon Symphony, and he's also freelances a lot, so he's pretty versatile in terms of being able to read music completely solidly, forward, backwards, upside down, but also adding some touches that he's learned from freelancing over the years. And then Alan Renier and Bernardo Gomez on bass. Each have a little different feel. Alan Renier's got a little more punch and a little more drive, so he's on the more driving tunes, and then Bernardo Gomez is on the little more lyrical tunes.
And you wrote all of them?
The compositions are original tangos that are composed before the 1920s. That's usually how it works with these groups, and then the different tango bands would arrange. So between Andrew Oliver and myself, we arranged all the tunes on the album. We also have Enrique Chavez on cajon on one of the milongas on track 7, and also Vicente Griego, this really well-known flamenco singer from Albuquerque. He was visiting me while I was mixing down the CD, and we decided to include him in his canto libre style of flamenco singing over track 16.
How does tango and flamenco mix?
I think where they meet is it's sort of, they have a similar feeling. Some people call it like duende, sort of in search for duende. It's this sort of love and pain sort of wrapped into one. Like if you're in love with someone and you're far away from them, there's sort of this pain, but not, you know, in German the word Sehnsucht describes it perfectly, but there's kind of no English translation for it. Maybe nostalgia is the best. And tango does it, I think, in a more, maybe perhaps polished way, and flamenco, to my ear, sounds a little more raw and earthy. So I've been telling Vicente he's kind of like the drugged out brother of the tango singer. That sort of, he's saying the same things, it's the same feeling as in tango, but just a different style. And the cool thing about it is we were doing straight up tango, he was doing his straight up flamenco. There was no compromise on either side, and it just fused perfectly. And it's the first time in my career that I've really successfully done fusion without compromise like that and have it turn out so well.
Do you think an album will come out of that?
Yeah, this October, Vicente is planning on flying to Portland, and we'll lock ourselves up in the recording studio for a week with some other great musicians and do an entire album with him. So that one track worked out so well. Yeah.
What is the challenge in fusing or having those two kinds of music sort of live side by side or intertwined?
Well, the cool thing about this is there was no challenge. We both came in, I mean, he hasn't studied tango. I haven't studied a whole lot of flamenco. We've heard of it and we've listened to it, but we sort of have too much respect to try to do it, you know, in a sense. And so there wasn't, like I said, there wasn't really any compromise. And in the past, the challenge has always been, well, for example, if you write a jazz piece and a classical musician plays it, is it jazz, or vice versa? You have these sort of fusion problems when people start compromising, or you ask them to do something that they're really not experienced doing, perhaps. So, you know, I wasn't asking Vicente to sing in a tango style, and he wasn't asking us to play in a flamenco style, and I think that's why it worked so well.
What are the types of tunes that these sets are made of? They must be different.
Yeah, well, there are 3 rhythms in Argentine tango. There's tango, milonga, which is sort of the faster, happier side, I guess, of the tanguero, and then there's a tango waltz. So there's a couple tango waltzes, 2 sets of milongas, and 3 sets of tangos on the album.
Do all the band members dance?
Andrew Oliver has taken a few lessons, but I think he's got a lot of potential, but he hasn't come in yet. Adam doesn't dance, but Nicole dances. Alan Renier dances. That used to be a prerequisite to play in my tango band. You had to at least attempt to dance, because we're a dance band more than anything, and that's really what our main focus is to play for dancers. So it helps when you have a background dancing.
And who will be playing with you in the album release?
It'll be Aaron Furby, who's the assistant concertmaster for the Oregon Symphony, Adam Lamotte, who is on the album, Alan Renier, so the more driving bass player, and then I'll be joined also by Andrew Eibert on second bandoneon and David Jenks on third bandoneon. So we actually have 3 bandoneon players, and then Nicole Portley on piano will round it out.
If there was one track on this album that you'd like the public to hear, what would it be?
Track 16. You got to hear Vicente singing. You got to hear this flamenco tango fusion. It's really amazing.